What's up, everyone, you Super Cup winning motherfuckers? How are we? I hope we're all over the moon from last night's performance. I'm still absolutely buzzing. I'm buzzing. Not about the performance, actually, sorry. About the result. About the fact that the Reds got it done. Put another trophy in the cabinet. This is the Late Night Agenda, ladies and gents. It is Thursday. How the hell are we all doing? Hope we're all keeping well. The usual, hope life is treating you well. Birds are singing, all the usual yada yada nonsense that comes out of my mouth. I'm still smiling though, baby. Still smiling ear the fucking ear after last night's performance. Straight in with the swearing. I should point out I do swear a lot for those of you that might be watching for the first time. I hope we're all keeping well, ladies and gents. How are we? Right, what have we got? Let's get straight into your comments. Loads to talk about. Want to talk about last night. What was that somebody said? I hear something. Liverpool are the most successful English club in football history. Is that what I'm hearing? That's right, motherfuckers. Back on top of our perch. More trophies than anybody else. Bring it. Bring it, ladies and gents. Love it. 4 times, so the Sambas taste cave. 4 times, 6 times. It's getting hard to remember all the numbers, mate, isn't it? There's so many of everything. Beautiful. Look, banter aside, it is a great time to be a Liverpool fan right now. 2 trophies in a couple of months for Klopp. Oh, so much for all this losing in finals malarkey. Yeah, nonsense. I seen, who was it? Was it Chris Pajak? I think it was Chris Pajak. He was delighted as well because he was at the game last night and he was saying that his hoodoo of finals is finally broken. He wasn't at the Champions League one because I think he booked a holiday or something away with his family. But he was at that last night and he was just delighted that his hoodoo around cup finals had been broken. So, nice one to Chris Pajak. I don't know Chris Pajak, but I genuinely felt happy for him seeing that last night. So, nice one for him on breaking that little hoodoo. Going on say, can I just say it's 49 years since Manchester City won a European trophy, so stick your 30 years jibe. I don't care about Manchester City going ads, honestly. Let's just enjoy Liverpool's performance last night and the fact that the Reds are now the most successful club in England. How nice is it to say that? Moved ahead of Manchester United by 1 solitary trophy, but 1 solitary trophy is enough, ladies and gents, to put the Reds back up on top. Chelsea fan complaining like hell. Look, I want to get to the game, and I will get to it. I want to get to the penalty incident. I want to get to Tammy Abraham. I want to get to the goal line technology, and I will get to all that, but I want to do it correctly and not just blurt something out that I'm going to regret. So, yeah, let's talk things through bit by bit. Right, so last night's game, ladies and gents, as I said, we are now 1 clear Manchester United at the top of that perch, and I like saying perch because it's a phrase that they like to use a lot. The accepted figure, and this is something I want to get your opinion on because there's 2 numbers doing the rounds here. The accepted figure amongst people is that Liverpool have 43 major trophies and United have 42. That's the figure that's currently doing the rounds in the media, being used by Cara, although less trophies than is on the club's honour board. The club's honour board have Liverpool having 47 major trophies, I believe it is, on that. But we'll go with the 43 to 42. That's the one that Caro was using. That's the one that seems to be accepted by most people. And that's the one that I shall go with. It doesn't really matter. 42, 43, 47, 46. It doesn't matter. It's 1. It's 1, and 1 is more than United. And that's all that matters here in this scenario. No, but look, what really matters is that we won that competition. Yes, that we won the Super Cup. It puts us level with Real Madrid, by the way, on 4 Super Cups. Both clubs with 4 Super Cup victories. So that's another nice little achievement for the Reds. What else we got? 46, said Liz. 46, 43, Liz. I don't know. It depends what way you want it. I know, it's really confusing, isn't it? Honestly, even Cara came out and said 43 major trophies to United's 42. I get you. You look at the club's wall of trophies and it's 46, as you're pointing out to me. And I was confused as anybody else last night, but it's I'll leave that to those imminently more qualified to decide what constitutes a real trophy and what doesn't. I don't know. I'll leave that to the pros to figure out. I'm just happy that the Reds are top of their perch again and that we picked up that trophy last night. After that, I'll let everybody else debate and argue about it because 6 European Cups is the most important number right there. Let's talk about 6 at Liam Bar. Happy to me. Right, look, as I said, I want to talk about the game a little bit, and I have so much to get through tonight, ladies and gents. We've got so many topics. But I want to talk about Chelsea, and Chelsea have condemned abhorrent posts aimed at Tammy Abraham after the club's defeat to Liverpool in Istanbul last night. What I want to point out here is that there's been a lot of posts racially abusing Tammy Abraham. Now, it's very easy for me to jump on here and say that it's Chelsea's own fans that are doing this, but the truth is, behind the anonymity of social media, nobody knows who's actually behind any of these accounts. And I don't want to come on here and falsely vilify Chelsea fans for this act. I'm sure some maybe have been Chelsea fans. I'm sure some were other fans acting as if they were Chelsea fans. But what I want to say here, first and foremost, is there's absolutely no place for this in our sport. I've said it time and time and time again. Tammy Abraham, I thought, was a cheating, diving little fucker last night for the penalty incident, but I would say that about anybody. Him missing a penalty and being racially abused for it is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Shouldn't be in society, shouldn't be in sport. There is no place for it. I fully back Chelsea condemning those chants or those posts. And it's something I wanted to touch on again. It doesn't matter if... It actually doesn't matter whose fans it is. It doesn't matter if it is Chelsea's fans. It doesn't matter if it isn't. The fact that a young man has been racially abused for missing a penalty. It's a lottery. Penalty kicks could happen to anybody. It's a lottery. I never hold missing a penalty against any player because it could happen to the best of them. But for somebody to be racially abused over a penalty kick, it is beyond disgusting, ladies and gents. And again, I want to just point out there is absolutely no place for this in our sport, in our society. It's an embarrassment to the sport. I hope these people are found. I hope they're prosecuted. I hope they're banned from games. They've no place in society or in sports talking about that. It's disgusting. Condemn Tammy Abraham for diving. Critique any player's performance. That is your right as a fan to do so, but do so in a constructive way that isn't just belittling somebody for their colour, their sexuality, their race, their religion, whatever it might be. I'm just so sad that that's even a conversation about after last night. But we can't just ignore it. I can't just come on here and not talk about it. I'd be a hypocrite. I said in conversation last night, you can go back and watch it if you don't believe me. As angry as I was about Tammy Abraham and his dive, and I do believe it was a dive, and I'll get to that as well. My heart went out to the young man when he missed that penalty. Watch the stream back. I said it. He'll come again. He's a good young footballer. It can happen to anybody. Obviously, from our perspective, I'm absolutely over the moon that Adrian saved it and we had that moment. But it's a tough moment for any player to step up there and take a penalty and miss it. So I just want to point that out as well. There is some positive news around this, if you can say that at all. Because Twitter have agreed to sit down with Kick It Out and help try and find a way to highlight and remove these disgusting accounts and these disgusting posts from social media. So congratulations to both of those. I hope they can work something out here because it's just wrong. And I'm not the right person to talk about this in any in-depth manner because I'm not qualified to. But what I can say is it's wrong. I think we all know it's wrong. To act in that way, I don't know what drives people to that. We're all emotional. I mean, you know me at this point. I'm very emotional watching football. But to go on social media and post that type of stuff, to write it out, look at it and think, yep, I can forgive anybody for saying something in the heat of the moment and then immediately saying, I'm sorry. I can forgive anybody for that because it happens to the best of us. But to write something, post it, look at it, and then, or to write something, look at it, and then post it, and then thinking it's fucking wrong. It's so wrong. My heart goes out to Tammy Abraham and any player that has to suffer any type of abuse like that. So I just wanted to point it out before we moved on because it's something I feel really strongly about. And now I can get around to calling him a diving little shit. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I fully believe that penalty incident. I was so angry for the majority of last night about that penalty incident that it almost took away from the enjoyment of Liverpool winning that cup for me. I'm so furious about VAR, about what the fuck the point of it is, about how that was reviewed and still given. It's got nothing to do with the referees being female or male. I said last night in the stream, I don't care if it's a unicorn. Whoever made that decision, whoever made the final call, and I don't know if it was the VAR, I don't know if it was the referee, whoever made that call, it's a shambles, and they should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Because all that has done now is open the door for people who are anti-VAR to come out and use this as an example of why it doesn't work. And VAR, in the main, can work. And it will improve certain aspects of the game. But there is nobody that will ever convince me that that was a penalty last night. And I'm saying this after we've won the game. I'm not saying this from a perspective of being bitter because we lost. I'll never understand how that was a penalty. Never, ever, ever understand how that was given as a penalty. That's my say on it. I wanted to just get that out of the way at the start of the stream. Now I'll go over to your comments, ladies and gents. Again, remember to keep things civilised when it comes to talking about this type of stuff. And I'll get to Kante as well, because a lot of you guys are pointing out his performance. Exceptional. N'Golo Kante was the best player on that field, I think, yesterday, in all honesty. He was excellent for Chelsea. But we'll get to that as well. Hope you're good. We're formidable and our trophy cabinet is even more, said Curtis Alton. Yes, mate, we're getting there. Kante was epic, to be fair, said Stephen. Somebody, who was it about Kante as well? Somebody else was talking about Kante. I've missed it. Yeah, somebody else was saying how good he was. Alison who now, said Jamie Todd. And now, to be fair, what a week though. What a week for Adrian. I mean, technically unemployed at one point, then signs for Liverpool, and now he's lifting the European Cup. Madness. I think that's the first trophy he's won in his career as well, if I'm not mistaken. VAR is pretty shit. Makes me feel like I can't celebrate when we score until 30 seconds after. Yeah, I kind of had that feeling at times last night, mate. Sometimes it's pretty clear cut and you know it's coming. You know the goal's going to stand, but it does make you that little bit nervous. But at the same time, I would rather the decision was right. Because if we got one at our end and it was offside, I'd be fuming if it happened at the other end. So I genuinely want the right calls. I really do want the right calls. And it is sad that we have to wait to celebrate to an extent. I get that. But it is also important that those calls are right. But my trust in VAR has been probably broken after that penalty incident last night. I just can't for the life of me understand how they can look at that and go, yeah, that's a penalty. BT Sport confirmed Abraham went down, no contact, said Yassar. Another important aspect of this as well is, and I don't think there was any contact, but why is contact a penalty? Why are we saying contact's a penalty if that's the case? I mean, let's look at it this way. Corners come in every match, multiple corners. And as a defender, any defenders out there will know, you're taught to get touch tight to your man a lot of the time. So when you're marking somebody, you get touch tight. Is that a penalty? If you touch a forward on his shoulder, can he fall down? Is that a penalty then? Because he was touched. Because we're saying it's basically a no-contact sport. Tammy Abraham was going away from goal. The ball was going out of play. Adrian pulled away from the challenge. I did not see any contact that could have caused Tammy Abraham to go down. That's my view on it. I'm going to stick by that till the day I die. I also think from this perspective, what I read, and again, could be wrong, what I read was that the referee and the referee's assistants and the VAR officials, or whoever it might be, they only have access to a certain amount of camera angles, and they don't have access to those camera angles that are being used by the TV companies. They can't use BTs, they can't use Skies, they can't use whoever it might be. They don't have access to that. They only have their own platform and their own software. I think it was one of the major TV companies, or somebody posted that out on Twitter earlier on. Kante is better than Mane, said they. Well, it's a really unfair comparison, to be fair, mate. I mean, Kante is a midfielder. I suppose now we can class him as a box-to-box midfielder, but Mane is a forward, pretty much. A wide forward who can play through the middle. So it's a very unfair comparison, but two absolute ballers of footballers, to be fair. Two great players. Is it Atlanta agenda tonight? People always have a go at me whenever I wear like non-Liverpool stuff. I am a chav. I wear football shirts all the time. I'll never wear another Premier League club shirt, don't get me wrong, but I just like football shirts. And yes, this is an Atlanta United shirt. I don't support Atlanta United. I just bought the shirt because I'm a chav that likes football shirts. Tammy Abraham got karma last night. He died for the extra time penalty, but hit him in the arse when he missed his. Yeah, I'm fully on board the karma train. I absolutely understand that. See, to me, that's okay. The fact we're having a conversation around somebody deserving to miss a penalty or having karma come their way, I get that. That's normal fan behaviour. It's when you start introducing somebody's religion or colour or sexual orientation into that it becomes disgusting. And we're right, it was a dive and it probably was karma. Fair play to Adrian, great save near the end of extra time, said Pat Moynihan. Did make a couple in the game, mate, you're right, yes. He had a couple of shaky-ish moments as well. But the last penalty in a penalty shootout, like, oh God, that was such a nerve-wracking penalty shootout, wasn't it? Couple of times Pepe got close as well, down to his bottom right to keeping Liverpool penalties out. But scored all 5, and if you score all 5 penalties in a penalty shootout, you know, you can't go too far wrong, really. There's a lot of seagulls following the trawler tonight, said Lux. Eric Cantona reference, I get you, buddy. Obviously, we condemn racial abuse of the guy. Yes, 100%. And I absolutely agree with you. Not sure if you mentioned it, but what do you think of City's meagre fine for the financial irregularities? It's got nothing to do with financial irregularities, Alan. Their fine was for underage transfers, and this is something that we need to clear up, because I've seen a few Liverpool fans posting about this saying fuck FFP. That was nothing to do with FFP. That was about their dealings in underage players and transfers, same as what got Chelsea the ban. The FFP stuff at Manchester City hasn't been dealt with yet. That is still coming, or that's still an ongoing investigation. The fine that they received was in relation to the transfer of underage players. That's all. It's got nothing to do with FFP. That's still coming. So do hold fire on that one. I just wanted to clear that up a little bit. And I'm not going to pretend I know the ins and outs of why they got that fine and what the difference was with the way Chelsea got their two window ban. That's not it. I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know the truth there. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I do know that it isn't the FFP thing. That's one thing I know for certain. Jamie Todd said, Craig, please tell me your thoughts on both keepers last night. That Kepa save on the bar could be the save of the season. It's very rare keepers get talked about. Yeah, look, Kepa flapped at a corner earlier on, and I gave him a little bit of stick for it when Van Dijk got there ahead of him. But as you've pointed out, mate, that double save, one from Salah via deflection, and then one from Virgil van Dijk from Kepa, was stunning. Absolutely stunning. Credit where it's due, mate. It was an amazing piece of goalkeeping, and it is why goalkeepers do those drills all the time where they go down and get back up real quickly, go down and get back up. It's exactly for moments like that where Kepa made the first save, got back to his feet really quickly, and managed to push Van Dijk's strike onto the bar. Top level goalkeeping. Nothing but credit to the young man. It was brilliant goalkeeping. Does Loris Karius have a future at Liverpool? No, he's gone. He's not a Liverpool player. Just think of him as a Besiktas player, mate. 2-year loan to buy deal. Certain things have to be triggered. He's in the second year of that. There's an agreement in place. I think that we'll see the total fee come to somewhere around 12 million. Could be a little bit wrong on that. Don't hold me to the number. But yeah, I mean, once he starts playing for Besiktas this season, once he starts racking up some more appearances, that's a done deal. And even if he did come back to Liverpool, he'll be moving on to Germany, I believe, pretty quickly. I don't like us playing a high line, said Mrs. Mad. Yeah, defending last night wasn't great. It wasn't great. Some good moments, some really good moments, but some bang average stuff, some ball watching. I thought Joe Gomez had a very poor game, if I'm being honest. Out of position, because I don't see him as a right back, and every time he goes into right back now, I think he looks a little bit less comfortable because he's been moulded into a centre back, and that's where his future probably lies. The high line thing, Klopp knows what he's doing. That's all I'll say about that. Is he's more qualified than me to talk about defensive line. Don't underplay as well the heat factor last night. I can't imagine what it must. I know they're professional footballers, but we're talking about the height of summer here in Turkey, and that would have taken it out of those players. I remember commenting, I think half an hour into the game, I seen Hendo's shirt, and the colour had changed completely in the shirt to a much darker shade because of all the sweat. Same with the Chelsea players, of course. It was a game that ebbed and flowed, really, wasn't it, last night? Chelsea had the first half, I think. I think they shaded that, probably more than shaded it. Deserved their lead. Wouldn't begrudge them that. Bobby Firmino's introduction changed the game a lot. Liverpool much better side in the second half. Chelsea then came back into it as well. Had it probably the better of extra time for a good chunk, but it was a nice, open, entertaining game. And if you're a Chelsea fan, you're disappointed, but you look at that and then you take into the United game and you look at it and go, there's little sparks there for Chelsea to be positive about. They played some lovely stuff through midfield at times last night, to give them credit. Some of the stuff, particularly out on the right hand side, I thought Kante was exceptional. We spoke about. From Liverpool's perspective, the difference Bobby Firmino made. I mean, if you never understood how important Bobby Firmino was to this team, surely to goodness last night and him coming on to start that second half showed you exactly what he brings to this team. It's the reason we had that Bobby Firmino appreciation stream the other night. The man is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's so important to everything that we do. Oxlade-Chamberlain is better in midfield, so we can do his magic. Yeah, he just didn't look at the races either, Craig, last night when he started, did he? Still working his way back, but yeah, it wasn't his greatest. Not hating, but you remind me of the United stand a lot. Why? I see this. I know you're not hating, and I'm gonna give you the credit. I'm gonna treat you with the respect that you've shown me here, mate, and you have been respectful. Is it because we use OBS? Is it because we have a green screen behind us? Is it because I'm sitting here talking to a camera? I mean, there are major differences between what Mark does and what we do. Firstly, Mark's infinitely more successful, but we're very different personalities, hero player. Mark talks more about his own opinions a lot of the time, whereas I dip into the chat a little bit more, I would say, than Mark does. We're very different personality types as well. He's good. He's got nice little phrases. I'm a lot more emotional than he would be at times, but it's very easy to make the connection, but we're very different. Very, very different people doing two very different things. But of course, when you've got somebody like Mark who pioneered, I suppose, a particular style of fan content, anything in any way similar, yeah, you can probably attribute it to him. Would I be sitting here if Mark hadn't done what he'd done? Probably not, no. Because I wouldn't know the format existed, if you get where I'm coming from. But we're very, very different. That's all I keep saying to people. And usually I go off on one when people say that. But you've been very kind and very sincere in the way that you've gone into the comments there, mate. So it's only fair I treat you the same. Salah's were going bottom left, but he deflected it. It was great save. We're talking about Kepa's save again. Great save. And Salah's penalty I thought was sensational as well, because the last 2 or 3 that I've seen him hit have gone just with power and just off centre. And I was expecting the same last night, but it was a beautiful penalty, side foot into the bottom corner. Love the press, but the midfield and forwards have to be quick to pressure the pass, said Happily Eggs. What else we got? If Firmino played for Raiola or Barca, he would be hyped a lot more than he is, but it's only us Liverpool fans to hype him. I think people are starting to cop on, David. You're right. For a very long time, us Liverpool fans were like, don't compare Bobby to this person, don't compare him to that person, you don't really understand what he does, stop measuring him in goals only, because what Bobby Firmino does is so much more important. And yes, it's important that any of our front three pick up some goals, but the work that man does and gets through, and what he allows Sadio Mane and Mo Salah to do, it's exceptional. I would say he's possibly the most important person in our entire team, in our system, in the way we set up to play. VAR still saying it's a penalty. Shambolics, a cube head. Hey Craig, hope you're having a good day. Connor, how are you, buddy? What do you think of the midfield of Wijnaldum, Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain on Saturday? I'm just trying to think of who's going to be fit, mate, for Saturday. That's going to be the big issue here. Fabinho looked completely shot at the end of that game. Struggling with cramp badly. I was actually amazed that he had enough to take a penalty. So fair play to him on that one. It's going to be difficult. I would imagine we might see Lallana on Saturday. Maybe a place for Shaqiri. Origi will probably drop back in as well. It's going to be intriguing to see who has the legs, who's fresh enough. And I think that would have played into Klopp's team selection last night, because look, quite frankly, none of us would have gone with that team. But I don't think Klopp would have gone with that team if he had one game in a week. I think his team selection last night was based on the game coming up against Southampton again on Saturday. And it's important to say that we can look back at it now and say, well, he got the trophy, so we got it right. And that's great. We can look back at it now and go, whatever happened, however we got there, and the history books will show that the Reds lifted that trophy, so therefore the gaffer got it right. But it still does leave players with tired legs going into this game against Southampton. I'm watching you in hospital right now. Broke my leg in the under-13 final. Ugh, mate, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're okay. I hope your leg's set okay. I hope you're being treated okay in hospital, mate, and I wish you a very speedy recovery. If I could just give you a small piece of advice, don't rush yourself back. Listen to what your doctors are telling you. Listen to what the physio are telling you. Listen to what your parents are telling you. You said you're under 13s as well. Mum and dad will know exactly what the story is, mate. Listen to them as well. And just keep in mind that everyone that's giving you advice there will have your best interests at heart, buddy. So I wish you a speedy recovery, and I'm again sorry to hear you had that accident, or a bad tackle, or whatever caused your leg break, mate. But I'm sorry to hear about it. And get well soon. Right, what else we got? Will City get punished in the league if found guilty for FFP? Again, I'm not sure about the Premier League investigation, but the UEFA investigation will only possibly lead to a potential European ban. Nothing to do with the Premier League. I don't know if the Premier League have their own investigation open or not. I can't actually tell you. But what I can say is the UEFA thing won't lead to anything to do with the Premier League. Tybox said, last night we saw the drawbacks of VAR. The problem seems the VAR called it no penalty and the ref overruled it. Am I right? No, so the ref gave the penalty, clearly. And what I was expecting to happen there was, I was like, alright, so she gave the penalty, fair enough. I can understand from the referee's perspective in a split second exactly why she gave it. No issues there whatsoever. From the angle the referee was standing at, I thought, she's blown the whistle for the penalty to be safe here. It'll get reviewed and we'll see what the situation is. So I was quite calm about it. I seen the replay and I got even more calm about it. I thought to myself, well, the replay clearly shows there was no contact there. VAR will be in contact with the referee, and they'll have a discussion and she'll say no penalty. And I was very calm about it all. Much like when they allow play to go on a little bit and before they put the flag up, they're trying to allow things to develop. So I thought the referee last night did that to check, because she was unsure, so she erred on the side of caution for the attacker and pointed to the spot. And I thought, well, this is exactly the type of scenario the VAR is here to do. Any referee could have made that decision. Split second, it's very, very difficult, and that's why VAR is here. VAR is here to assist the referees who have a very difficult job. But it didn't last night. It turned out to be a fucking farce. And how that penalty was ever given and stood, I will never, ever know. It looked to me as much of a clear and obvious error as you could possibly ask for. And it shouldn't have been a penalty. It was. It stood. He scored. We still lifted the cup. We move on. But it does leave a lot of people. And it's us now. It's Liverpool fans now. So it's easy for City fans, United fans, Spurs fans, Arsenal fans, whoever it might be, to sit here and mock us over it. And that's alright. We're big boys and girls. We can take that. But when the shoe's on the other foot, it's going to be different. And this is where I think at times we have to remove our tribalism for a second and just look at the big picture here and go, that's just not right. Like, that is just not right. And it shouldn't have happened. Somebody made a very interesting point, and this could be a little bit of bias on my side, and I'm willing to accept that it might be. But let's just flip this for 1 second and imagine that was Mohamed Salah who went down in the penalty area with a bit of a, like, Tammy Abraham's a new young footballer. He's got no baggage. Salah has stuff thrown at him by opposition fans that he goes down too easily, that he's a diver, that he cheats. Imagine that was Salah and that penalty was given. As somebody pointed out on Twitter, and I can't remember who it was, but Connor sent it to me earlier on, there would probably have been a 3-hour phone in on one of the radio stations about this. It's sometimes we need to just put our fan loyalty aside and just realise that was a wrong decision. It was a wrong decision, and if it happened to our team, we'd be fucking furious about it. And that's what VAR is supposed to clear up. That was my very limited understanding of VAR anyway. Craig, I think Lallana will play the 6 on Saturday, said Stephen Richards. 6? What, 6, Stephen, you say? That number reminds me of something, young man. Oh, it might well be the 6 motherfucking European Cups that the Reds have. We struggled in 2 big finals in hot climates. Now I think it's down to Klopp having them do double sessions before the game. Well, the only reason we were doing double sessions in the build-up, mate, is because it was pre-season. And Klopp has them doing double, sometimes triple sessions to get them fit. I don't know what way they prepared for the game. Bear in mind they had a game on Friday, so they had more recovery time than Chelsea. Again, we won. I mean, we can look back and critique, and rightly so, but we won. And that's the main thing here. It'd be much worse if we were sitting here having lost a penalty shootout, which is a lottery, don't get me wrong. Dave's LFC Chats is in the house, buddy. How are you? The VR, it's VAR. I often say VR as well when I'm talking about it, Martin. We're afraid to go against... Nah, I don't think they were afraid to go against the female ref. I'm not having that. This is where the conversation can't go. The conversation can't go into a sexist debate, because it shouldn't be about that. It's about a referee that made a decision that we all believe is wrong and that VAR upheld. Whether, as I said last night in the stream, I don't care if it was a unicorn that made the decision. It doesn't matter to me. The sex of the referee had no... I actually thought the referee was a consistent referee that had a decent game. I didn't agree with a lot of the decisions with regards to forwards going down, being pulled by defenders. But what I did say in stream, when you again watch it back, is the referee was consistent in both sides. So she didn't give Liverpool anything, but she also wasn't giving Chelsea forwards going down the same thing. And at times, that's all you can ask for from a referee, is that level of consistency. I've no issues with the referee. The only issue I had yesterday was around that penalty. Other than that, I thought the referee had a decent enough game. And it's VAR that let this whole scenario down, not that female official. She made her decision that any other referee could have made. Male, female, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. Split second thing. Seeing Abraham go down from the angle, the view that the referee had. It's a difficult decision. And that's what VAR is supposed to be there for. Are you worried about Liverpool's defence when facing City? A little bit, but I think we'll improve. I think as the level of opposition improves, as the rhythm improves, as the players all get back, I think some of those players are more fit than others at the minute. Some have had more recovery, some have had more rest, some have had more holiday, as well as some of the Manchester City players and stuff as well. So we will improve when we get into a game rhythm, as will our defence. We've played 2 games so far, ladies and gentlemen. We've won the league game and we've lifted the Super... Actually, sorry, no, we've played 3, haven't we? We lost 1 game on penalties. We won 1 game in the league and we won another game on penalties. So, you know, we haven't exactly been blown away at the start of the season. It's been a decent enough start. 3 points on the board in the league, 1 trophy in the cabinet. The one that I wanted more than the other one. Again, call me a hypocrite, but go back and watch the streams. I said the same thing. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper at this moment in time, ladies and gents. And there is more to come. Champions League left to play for. World Club Championship to play for. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. It's interesting times. What do you make of the McGregor incident? I did see that earlier on, James, and it's fucking despicable. I have to say, mate, it's despicable, and there's no defending it. For those of you that don't know what we are talking about here, and a lot of you probably will, a video is doing the rounds at the minute that, again, there's no audio on the one I've seen anyway, that seems to be Conor McGregor in a bar, pouring out bottles, shots of whiskey from a bottle, a gentleman behind him, I would say 50s, maybe 60 years of age roughly, spoke to McGregor about something. I've no idea. He could have been telling him his whiskey was shit. I don't know. But McGregor punched him in the head. And there was no intimidation from the gentleman that was sitting down. He stayed sitting. He didn't shape up towards McGregor like he was going to do him any harm. It looked like McGregor acting like a fucking thug. And I can't defend that as much as I love Conor McGregor and his career. For me, what I've seen, and of course I don't know the full story, but it's very hard to defend the actions of Conor McGregor there. It looked like somebody that needs to be fucking pulled up on it. Like, his mates pulled him off immediately, but I wasn't happy about seeing that at all, to be honest, mate. It's a shame and it's wrong from what I've seen, from what I've seen. What else we got? Everybody calm down about our defence. It's early in the season and we're jumping between climates quite often. They'll come good. We've drawn once with City already, said Harry Williams. Bo said, I really think we need to improve the squad in the transfer window. Look at Chelsea. We kind of struggled when they play. They dominate all teams, but we aren't dominating. Mate, we've played 2 games. As I said, well, if you want to include the Community Shield, grand, 3 games, but we've done alright and we'll get better. And we've still got players coming back and players getting back. Mane's only getting into the team really now. Our front 3 will start soon enough together in the game and we'll be grand. We'll be grand. We'll be sound. Don't worry about it. Defending starts from the front as well, which is why I'm saying how important Mino is. But yeah, there has been issues with our defence and our midfield. Definitely. I'm not going to disagree with you. I said to Conor before that game yesterday, I didn't like the look of the midfield. I never like the look of a midfield that has Fabinho, Henderson and Milner in it. Even with Milner or with Henderson having that licence to get forward a bit more, it just always screams a little bit lacking of something. I mean, you'll always get guile and hard work out of that trio. But yeah, I wanted a Naby Keita in that midfield. I know he had a muscle injury, but that for me would have been a difference maker. Is Alisson missing for the City game? I don't even remember when the City game is, mate. I mean, Arsenal after the next one, I think. So City a bit away. A couple of weeks is all the manager said, or a few weeks. So I don't know the exact numbers. Was the dude okay? Yes, absolutely, mate. The dude didn't even look like... It wasn't a full force punch. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, the gentleman was sound. Like, didn't fall off his chair or anything like that. He looked like he was okay, but still despicable. Is he retired? God knows. Peter van der Schaans. I know he's been doing some training. I've seen him in gyms, but I don't know if he's going to come back and fight in the octagon soon. I haven't got a clue. McGregor needs to be stopped. I think, well, I don't want to say that, Stephen, because it's not fair of me to throw around accusations like that about somebody's mental health. But something's going wrong. He does seem to be a little bit erratic lately, I think it's fair to say. And I don't know Conor McGregor, so I can't judge a man that I don't know, but what we've seen in that video and we've seen with the phone smashing incident and a few other bits and pieces, it's not great, to be honest. Who do you think will be a replacement for Milner? Interesting. I think we'll have to I think we'll have to look to buy that replacement, if I'm being honest. I mean, when we spoke a few weeks back in the transfer window when it was still open and we were all fucking starry-eyed and looking at possible transfers, Van de Beek for me, or is it Van de Beek or Van de Beek? Him, anyway, he would be perfect. Real Madrid are looking at him, but yeah, and a nice box-to-box midfielder, full of energy. But Milner could have this season and maybe one more in his legs. You never know. He is absolutely super fit. And I don't like looking at replacing people while they're still here. That's the manager's job, and I doubt he will be looking into that in the future as well. Mane equals beast, said Papandu. I love him, mate. I love him so much. The way he opened up his body as well for that second goal. Lovely pull back to him, but opened up his body, inside of the foot, banging off the bar. It was a beautiful strike. Brewster, possible start on Saturday. I don't know. It's a big one. Away. If it was at home, perhaps. Away from home. Oh, I don't know. That is a big call. But it's why it's so intriguing, isn't it? I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect. We won't be doing a stream tomorrow night, by the way. I'm going to take tomorrow off because I realised that this is my 17th day in a row working, I think, since I've come home from holidays. So I'm going to take a full day off tomorrow, but I'll be back on Saturday with the watch along of the game and a post-match show as well. But look, we've loads of time left tonight as well. Loads of time left. Who is Adrian? If you need to ask that question, mate, then I really shouldn't be answering you, to be fair. Do you think Klopp will try to get Werner on the free in January? It would be sweet, Joe. I'm not going to lie, mate. It would be rather tasty to get that tied up for the summer. Obviously, him being in Germany and his contract is up at the end of the season, he can talk to any club outside of the Bundesliga from January and sign a pre-contract agreement. So it is possible, but it's also possible that he moves in this window still because the European window is still open, or that he goes to Bayern Munich next summer. Kante used to be defensive mid, but it's now box to box, said Peter van der Schaans. Yep, it was Sarri that kind of unleashed him a little bit there and gave him that freedom. And he's just class, isn't he? He really is just... He's a wonderful footballer to watch, N'Golo Kante. Milner's gone nowhere anytime soon, said Liz Golden. Fully agree, Liz. And why would he? He's absolutely class. Marco Grujic will be Milner's replacement. That's why he's getting so many loans. I don't know if he'd be I'm looking at him as competition for Fabinho, mate. That's why when somebody mentioned him earlier on, I didn't automatically go into talking about Grujic. I kind of think of... I agree with you that I fully believe he has a future. I just think maybe it's as a Fabinho supplement, probably the best word. The only thing that can replace Milner is Thor, said Stephen Richards. I get that reference, even though I don't watch any of those type of films. I do get that reference. Why are so many people talking about Cundy? Cundy just said Keita wouldn't make a League One team. Yeah, that's what that mouthpiece's job is, though, isn't it, Neil? Cundy is paid to be a mouthpiece and to provoke reaction. Cundy isn't fit or wasn't fit in his fucking playing days to lace Naby Keita's boots. So Cundy, we know Cundy's a massive fucking hypocrite. He was celebrating Manchester City scoring a goal against Spurs, a club who he used to play for. You know my thoughts on Cundy. I've given them over and over and over again. He's just a gobby little trolling fool that tries to stay relevant on that radio station by just provoking reactions and saying stupid shit. And that will lead me into something that I want to talk about later on around Daniel Sturridge and Simon Jordan. Again, I believe the same radio station. I could be wrong on that one, but Cundy's an asshole, basically. He's just a fucking asshole. Happily Egg said, I think Brewster will get rotated in when the team are 2 or 3 goals up with 15 minutes to play. Again, I think a lot of people are agreeing on Cundy. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've gone on many a rant about Jason Cundy, and I don't have it in me anymore. I'm sick of talking about the lad. He is exactly what you're all accusing him of being. How dare you have a day off? I know, Mark. It's I have to do it, mate, or I'll just burn out. I don't like taking time off. Everything of my personality wants me to just go and work and do it again, but I need to take a day off, unfortunately, mate. And I know you're only joking as well, by the way. What's your opinion on the English window closing so early compared to the European window? It's a double-edged sword, isn't it, Adam, mate? And thank you for the question. From a Premier League perspective, I like it because it eliminates the possibility of a player playing against the club 3 times, which can happen. But it definitely does give European clubs an advantage in the transfer window because they know if they sit back and they allow the Premier League window to close, and all the money that comes along with Premier League clubs and those inflated prices and wages that they can pay that perhaps other clubs in other leagues can't pay, it gives these clubs that 2-3 week window where they can go, okay, well, now the player that we were looking at but we didn't want to show our hand on in case a Premier League club came calling, nobody from the Premier League went for this player, now we can go in, we might get this player for 10-15 million quid less, lower wages. So there's pluses and minuses to it. From just a point of view of the Premier League on its own, I like it. I like the idea. I don't like players being able to play against other clubs 3 times in the league. It's weird. But I absolutely understand both sides of this debate as well. Yeah. What do you guys think about it? I mean, it's one thing me giving you my opinion, but this is a democracy. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know your opinion on the English versus European window. What else? We conquered all of Europe. We're never going to stop Stephen Byrne. We're never going to stop Pal. You're right. From Paris down to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. I said last night, if we had Kane, we'd be unstoppable. You said Kanye. I know you meant Kante. And I said Kane. So we all fucked up there, Joshua. Yes, if we had Kante, we'd be unstoppable. He's an excellent player, isn't he? He really is. Maybe if we had Kanye, we'd be unstoppable as well, though. Kanye would be pretty damn good. What have we got? Where is Sturridge? Right, that leads me on to talking about Sturridge then. It looks like Daniel Sturridge is very close. According to Goal, they're reporting that Sturridge is close to agreeing a deal to sign for Turkish club Trabzonspor. And as we know, Danny Sturridge became a free agent when his contract with Liverpool expired. I think it was at the end of June. But on this one, I mean, I wish Daniel Sturridge the best with his career wherever he goes. But interestingly, did you guys see the attack from the overly blonde gobshite that is Simon Jordan on Daniel Sturridge? Completely unprovoked. He called him a destabilising influence on young players, questioned various other things about his career, and went off on one for God knows what reason. Like, I have no idea what the fuck Simon Jordan's issue was with Daniel Sturridge. Did he turn down a move to Palace when he was there or something? I really don't know. Maybe somebody can shed some light on this. And for those that don't know who Simon Jordan is, by the way, excuse me, I should probably explain. He's a former chairman of Crystal Palace. He sold it to another blonde-haired lad that could basically have been his fucking brother. But anyway, he loves a bottle of peroxide, loves a suntan, and seemingly loves to belittle footballers for God knows what reason. I'm absolutely baffled as to why Simon Jordan decided to go off on one about Daniel Sturridge. Now, from what we've seen of Daniel Sturridge, one of Simon Jordan's criticisms of him was that he's a destabilising influence on younger players. Now, obviously, I'm not inside the training ground, but what I've seen about Daniel Sturridge, and what I've heard about Daniel Sturridge, and what I've seen younger players speak about Daniel Sturridge, is that he is a big brother figure to them, and that he has been nothing but helpful to them, and he's been there for advice. I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled. Like, I don't understand what the fuck Simon Jordan was on, and why he went on this tirade against Daniel Sturridge. It's very odd altogether. Very odd. The man just got his dog back. Leave him alone, Simon. Do you know what I mean? Let him enjoy life. If he signs for Trabzonspor, best to him. Enjoy himself. He goes to wherever he might go. Daniel Sturridge owes nobody nothing. And has done nothing on anybody that I've seen as well. It's odd. Very, very, very odd. I don't... Has anybody got any reasoning behind this? Has anybody heard an underlying story, perhaps, that I've missed out here? How Naby Keita injury issues. I know it's Mohammed. It's difficult, and I hope to goodness that we get to see Naby Keita, the Naby Keita that we all know is there, and the Naby Keita that can have a massive influence on this team and on our season. And I'm sure it's as frustrating as hell for Naby as well that he's picking up these little knocks, mate, and that muscle strain or whatever it was last night kept him out of the game. I love Naby. I'm really looking forward to seeing the best of him. It is frustrating. I hear where you're coming from, Mohammed. Box said the transfer window should be starting and ending the same across Europe, in my view. But leagues don't start and end at the same time, mate. That's the thing. Leagues don't start and end at the same time. That's what makes it a bit more complicated. But I get where you're coming from. And that used to be the case up until a couple of seasons ago. Or was it last season was the first one? You know, me and my memory, it's shocking. Why was it not framed to say that no in or outs from the EPL after the transfer window shuts? Why is it not framed to say no ins or outs from the EPL after the transfer window shuts? It's not possible. It's not possible to tell a club in Europe who are able to register players that they can't register players from the Premier League. That's my understanding of it now. Look, of course, mate, everything I say take with a massive pinch of salt, but I mean, clubs can say no. Don't get me wrong here. And the issue isn't really around, although it is possible that, like, say a Real Madrid could come in and poach a player from a Premier League club, and then that club are up shit creek because they can't go and do any business. But I think most clubs, once they close their window, they refuse to do business, or very few will do business. So for me, the only issue is the getting to cherry pick other talent around Europe at a knockdown price. That's the big issue for me, not clubs coming in doing business with Premier League clubs or things like that. I don't see that as a major issue. It's more, let's say Timo Werner. That's a good example that we spoke about earlier on. So if I'm Atletico Madrid and I look at Timo Werner and go, yeah, Timo Werner's a year left on his contract. If a Premier League comes in right now, the price is probably 40 million that Leipzig ask. But if we hang off and wait, if a Premier League comes in, maybe we go head to head with them for the player. But if they don't come in, we know we've got 2 or 3 weeks there to work on a deal for Timo Werner, and we could probably get him for 10 million less than the Premier League club. That's where I see the big advantage. He's not involved with Palace anymore. Yes, did say that, mate. I said he sold the club. He's former Palace chairman. Again, though, you could be replying to somebody else there, Brian. I know this often happens. Katie should not have played in the AFCON, said Cape Town Muslim. Mate, I am 100% with you on that one. 100%. Should never went near the tournament. But, as is the case, clubs sometimes get not held to ransom by national teams, but they can't stop it. If they're declared fit or in any way fit, then there's fuck all Liverpool can do about it. Next season, Liverpool should sign Kai Havertz. I think a lot of Reds, Serge, would like that to happen. A lot of Reds. What else we got? Look, said Italian Tier 1 are apparently saying Lovren to Roma for €25 million. Spoke about that the other night, but I read something a little bit conflicting to that earlier on today. So Football Insider claimed that Dejan Lovren may well stay at Liverpool this season. And as you've rightly said, looks, he's been linked to Roma very strongly. I'd seen €15 million with €5 million in add-ons, but this report said that Roma only want to sign the defender on a loan and that Liverpool are only willing to consider a permanent deal for Dejan Lovren. Now, I'm always wary of any Italian club that comes in looking for a loan to buy. And I believe it was a loan with an option to buy at the end of it that Roma wanted. Because they're fuckers for renegotiating and not going through on stuff like that. The amount of times I've seen Italian clubs, and fair play to them, if they can do it, fair play. But from Liverpool's perspective, it makes no sense to loan out Dejan Lovren. If you're going to sell him, sell him. If you're not going to sell him, keep him. The loan with any door ajar for them to possibly send him back just means we're getting a 1 year older player back with a year less on his contract. So it's sell him or keep him at this moment in time, I think. And Roma have been linked. AC Milan were linked earlier on in the window. Roma seem to be the front runners at the minute. I guess we're gonna have to just wait and see, mate, what happens. But yeah, €20 million roughly. But I can't. The loan thing just be mad. I'll be pretty fucking frustrated if we loan him out. Harry said, if we lost Lovren, who would you promote to fourth choice? Nat Phillips is not an option, mate. He's playing for Stuttgart this season. He went out on loan to the second German division. I don't know what the Bundesliga 2 is, that what it's called? So he's gone there for the season. So Nat Phillips isn't an option. So it's Vandenberg, probably, mate. Vandenberg or Keanu Hoover are your two options. And Vandenberg looks more physically capable at this moment in time of stepping up. So probably Sepp Vandenberg will be the option, I guess. It's not ideal though, not going to lie. Moving Dexy Lovren off and having... I mean, I've nothing against Sepp Vandenberg being promoted, don't get me wrong, but it is another little possible unnecessary roll of the dice. At the moment, Naby looks like a poor purchase for the club, said Seahog. Does he? Really? I don't know. I don't think that way, mate, personally. He picked up an injury at the start of the season. It's not great. We've seen glimpses of Naby at the end of last season, what we should and hopefully will get from him. But it was his first season in a new country, with a new environment, with a new language, with a new culture, with a new team in a new league, playing the new way, with a new manager. So I think you got to allow all this to play out and just see what happens this season. This season is probably the better one to judge him on. Subi's on holiday in Maramis. How are you, mate? Hope you're enjoying it. How is it? It's midnight there. Happy to see the hotel and watching the rest of the stream. Well, hope you all have a wonderful holiday, mate. Yourself and your family. Maramis is not too far from where I was in Turkey recently, and I've heard good things, mate. So hope you have a lovely trip. Any news on Lovren? We just literally spoke about that. I'd say you probably wrote that in before we spoke. Adam Lallana, stay or go? Asks Casper. Well, he will be staying, but I would have sold him. I've said that a few times, mate. I'd have sold him, but Klopp decided to keep him, and I think this is a make or break without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, he can't, if he starts picking up more injuries throughout the season this season, you got to move him on, surely. But he's here at the moment, and we back our players. Yesterday was so nice, said Harry Moody reactions. Yeah, it was. It's always nice to lift a trophy, isn't it? Gomez should never play right back again, said Bowie. He's a good centre back. Milner, Henderson, Fabinho. No in midfield together. I agree with a lot of what you're saying, to be fair there, mate. I don't know if I would ever use the phrase ever, but yeah, he wasn't great last night. As I said at the start of the stream, it was a poor game from Gomez, and that midfield always makes me a bit nervous seeing the three of them together. Liam said, I definitely believe Jurgen's got something big up his sleeve in January, whether it's Timo, Werner or Bruno Fernandes, or both, but definitely believe it's going to be somebody of that calibre. I don't know why my daughter seems to be in Circa. Is there any chance you can stop banging every single thing in your room? I don't know what my daughter's at in there. It's like she's having a game of ping pong against the wall or something. She is the most beautifully clumsy human being. She could just drop. You could give her two things and say don't drop either of them, and she's dropping both of them. But God, I love her nonetheless. But it's very distracting when she's in there banging. Christopher McVicker said, agree or disagree? Matip's a better defender than Gomez. Disagree. That would be my opinion. At this moment in time, he probably deserves the shirt more than Joe Gomez. I'd agree with you on that one. But I don't think he's a better defender than Joe Gomez. I think Joe Gomez will go on to be an infinitely better defender as well. But right now, yeah, I'll probably agree. I'd give Matip the shirt over Gomez. Curtis Dalton said, hey Craig, hope you're good. I am, mate, thank you. Said, we're formidable and our trophy cabinet is even more 60 now. I think it is, mate. 60, 40, 43, 40, 60, whichever phrase we want to use. Am I worried that Naby could be injury prone? I guess I kind of have to be like everybody else, mate, yeah. I mean, you can only go off what you see, and I hope he isn't, but there is some cause for a little bit of concern. But again, we're just going to have to trust and wait and see what happens. It's I try not to, I was going to say I try not to overreact, but I'm Mr. Overreaction in the moment. But in the big picture, I try not to overreact and I try and take a step back. Cape Town Muslims said teenage girls. I know, mate. Probably in there, Snapchat open, listening to something on her earphones, juggling stuff, doing her fucking toes or something. I don't know, but she's dropping shit left, right and centre. Firmino's the most underrated player in the league. Agree. Definitely agree. One of them anyway, Christopher. The man is an absolute sensation. Lallana to start at the weekend, asked Junior Kish. I would say probably, yes. I would say because of the freshness and the familiarity, of course, Southampton as well. Maybe. I would say probably I would lean towards Lallana starting. How good was Klopp's scouting of Adrian? Well, it's not rocket science, to be fair, mate. We were all talking about it for quite a while. I mean, there was conversations for a good while. I think Jace Roberts put out a post in May, maybe, that suggested it. His contract was up. If Mignolet was to move on, it was a pretty easy deal to get done and a pretty obvious one, but it's still a good one nonetheless. Subi said, I was at the match yesterday, but my dad and Auntie's husband went and caught a bus on Tuesday, and I got a bus back today. Again, mate, I'm sure you enjoyed it. Got your money's worth. Anyway, definitely got value for the ticket, buddy. Extra time, penalties, wonderful stadium. And as I said, I hope you're enjoying Turkey as a country, which I'm sure you are. And I'm not at all jealous that you were at the game. I am. I am, mate, a lot. I look brilliant. Claire Dean said, Firmino's ridiculous. I love that dude. You're going to have to get in the queue, Claire, because I love him more than you. And I'll always love him more than you, mate. Yeah, he's brilliant, isn't he? I love the show from a Chelsea fan. Thank you, Mohammed. Really appreciate having you with us, mate, and welcome in. We touched earlier on, we had a bit of a touch. That's a bit strange. We touched on a comment earlier on, I was trying to say. But yeah, you're welcome, buddy, and it's great to have you with us. We welcome fans from all clubs in, mate. It's a football show based on Liverpool, but yeah, great to have you in. Thank you. Ladies and gents, if you are enjoying this stream and you haven't yet subscribed, please do hit that button. We've gone past 21k, which is I still don't know how it's happened, and I'll probably never understand how it's happened, but I'm grateful. So if you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that subscribe button. Rodgers signed some class players, so Peter van der Schaans, he has, and I still say Rodgers is a very good coach. He throws people under the bus. He is very naive in Europe, but I think Rodgers is still a good coach. Do you think Coutinho will come next summer? No, I don't. I think he'll go to Bayern Munich or Paris Saint-Germain in this window. What is this channel based on? Well, it ain't fucking reality a lot of the time, Casper, mate. I don't know. It's not based on anything. Does it have to be based on something? Is there something you're getting at, Casper? Have you something you'd like to say, mate? It's not really based on anything. It's based... It came from Connor's idea. We did a podcast. Podcast is great, as I've said before, but you put it out there into the world, you hope people like it, but you can't get any immediate feedback. So Connor said to me one day, we should move this to YouTube. Actually, do you know, I'm doing a disservice to somebody. A while back, Husey said we should move the podcast to YouTube, but keep it as a podcast, I think. And then Connor said we should just turn it into a YouTube channel. We should just go full on YouTube. And after thinking about it for a while and dismissing it originally because I was, 36 at the time, feeling infinitely too old to start a YouTube channel, Connor said, no, do it. So we did it, and here we are, mate. And I love it. And it's the best. I'm going to be eternally grateful for Connor for talking me into it, because it's been one of the most satisfying things I've done outside of family in my life. Madip starting to think cementing his place next to VVD, so Cape Town Muslim, maybe not a bad thing, as Gomez can be more versatile. Stephen Richard said Lonergan and Adrian must be pinching themselves to see where they've ended up. Yeah, it's not too shabby, is it? Not too shabby at all. But you know what? Fair play, mate. You got to take these chances when they come. And Adrian went from being unemployed a few weeks ago to lifting a trophy. I think the first trophy of his career, as I said earlier on, I believe. Fabinho's a slow burner, said Gaz, but will become the best holding midfielder in Europe. Even better than Kante. It's a big show. But I love Fabinho. Absolutely love him. And I agree with you. He's going to be immense. He is immense, but he's going to be even more immense. Claire Dean said Bobby, Mane, Salah, Hendo, Fabinho, Gini, Virgil van Dijk, Matip, Trent, Robbo, and the goalie who's fit, said Claire. Right, on that actually, well, we're talking about Virgil van Dijk. He's a centre half, he's our number 4. Virgil van Dijk has made the final 3 for the UEFA Player of the Year award. Now this isn't the Ballon d'Or, it's the UEFA Player of the Year award. He'll be up against Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo for the award, and in my opinion it's an award that Van Dijk will thoroughly deserve if he wins it. The award apparently was created back in 2010, 2011, and Virgil van Dijk is the first defender to ever make the final 3-man shortlist for this award. Now, not to be confused with Cannavaro and the Ballon d'Or, as I said, this is a different award, and the award ceremony will take place in Monaco on August the 29th, and I'm sure we all wish Virgil van Dijk the best for that award, and I thoroughly believe he deserves it. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely believe he deserves to win that, the Ballon d'Or, player, every other award for last season, because he was sensational. Great to have him recognised in the final 3, but you want that last little push, don't you? You want him to get the Ballon d'Or or the UEFA Player of the Year award, or both. What do you guys think? Any neutrals watching as well? Love to know your opinion. I can't... Is there any real argument for Ronaldo in that award that year? I know we had a good year at Juventus. I know they won the league, and I know he scored a lot of goals, and I know, but at the same time, it's got to be a Messi Van Dijk conversation in my head. And if that's the conversation for me, trying to not be biased, I think Van Dijk deserves it. I'm also baffled that Bernardo Silva didn't make a few of those teams of the year as well. I thought he was excellent for Manchester City last season. Did you hear that Pepe Reina wanted to come back to Liverpool and replace Mignolet, but Liverpool said no and got Adrian instead? I did not hear that, mate. No, I didn't. It would have been a tricky deal to do as well, because he's contracted to AC Milan, so we would have been up against it. I can't even remember. Did Mignolet move before? My memory's shocking, you know this. Did Mignolet move before or after the window closed? I know Adrian we were able to sign him regardless because he was a free agent, but the Reina thing, he would have been contracted to Milan, so there could have been a transfer fee wanted there, and it could have been a bit more of a tricky deal to do. I love Firmino, Mane. What's this? I love the Firmino Mane banter over Mane's goal celebration. Sorry, I was confused there for a second, mate. My bad. Yeah, he's tried to copy a couple actually, I think. Lallana was a very clever player. Hope he can finally stay fit, said Craig Adams. Yeah, he's a quality footballer. He is, no doubt about it. Do you know what? Actually, I was checking earlier on. You know that we do a lot of stuff now. We're working with Football Index, and we've spoken about this before. BeGambleAware.org, 18 plus. When the fun stops, stop. Everything that surrounds gaming. But I did have a little look on my on my Football Index earlier on. Just to see who the movers and shakers are, because I like to keep up to date. And Mason Mount has actually made a little bit of a jump after that performance in the Super Cup. He's gone up 31p in his share to £2.92 now. So, biggest mover. It was Harry Maguire for a while. He's gone up. Sadio Mane's value has gone up 12p as well. Who else have we got here? Riyad Mahrez, he's gone up 6p. So his value's gone up to £1.39 a share. Sterling's value has gone up. He's now £6.23 a share. So I do love... Even Lewandowski's value has gone up with his age and stuff, which is interesting. Somebody I would have stayed away from because of his age in investing in. But £1.27, for those of you that are wondering, for a share of Robert Lewandowski, or a share in Robert Lewandowski, I should say. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are somebody who uses Football Index or who's going to use Football Index, please do use our sign up link below. And when you sign up, use the code AA. And we spoke about what that gets you before. It gets you 10% on your purchases in the first month, and it also gets you a guarantee to cover your losses for up to £1,000 in the first month. Something that we worked very hard with Football Index to sort out, and they were very kind in doing for us, because we wanted to make sure that if we pitch something to our subscribers, that it's worth your while, and that it's none of this stuff is risk free. It's gaming, it's gambling, it's real money, and it is for 18s plus, and it is only for people in the UK and Ireland. Gotta say that as well from the start. But for me, it's a more fun style of gambling, shall we say, because it's not short term. But if you are going to sign up, there is a link at the top of the stream notes below. Use AA as your sign up code, and that'll help support the channel as well. And as I said, get you those benefits, 10% extra on your purchases of players in the first month, up to a maximum of £50. And again, all your losses covered in that first month, up to £1,000. All you have to do is email them. Simple, straightforward, boom. Email them, as I said. Let me just pull open one thing. No, you know what? I'm not even going to go into it. I'm not going to go into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're signing up, I don't want to push things on you. If you're signing up, it will be very beneficial to us if you use the link below or use the code AA when you're signing up. Thank you very much. And for anyone that has signed up, let me know your thoughts. I want to know your feedback, because I said it's a product I've used for about a year, maybe even a little bit longer than that. I don't want to tell you my portfolio on there. I don't want to tell you how much I have invested on it. I think that's a personal thing, and something I'd never ask any of you to divulge either. But what you will get from myself and Connor over the course of the season is a little bit of banter and a little bit of back and forth as to who we're looking at and who we think would be worth maybe looking at for a sneaky few quid in investment. But as I said, be gamble or be gamble aware, and when the fun stops, stop. Right, I felt like a fucking advert there. When the fun stops, stop. It's a very simple catchphrase, that actually, isn't it? But true, it is true. And if it is, stop. Very important. Right, what else have we got? Join the football index. Havertz, my biggest profit so far. 6p, said Craig Adams. 6p is 6p, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure that will probably keep going up as well if Kai Havertz if the interest and he has another season like he did last season. I'm actually ashamed to say, Craig, hand on heart, I haven't got Kai Havertz as one of my purchases or in my index or portfolio, I believe is the correct term. I must have a look into Kai Havertz, mate. Thank you for bringing him to my attention in my stupidity. And I do like to look at younger players and make sure and track their value and stuff. But yeah, I have to admit, I'm a little bit ashamed to say I have no shares in Kai Havertz. Silly me. Blue said she's going to sign up. Thank you very much, Blue. Remember, use the code AA or sign up via the link below and use the code AA. What else have we got? Liverpool players are dominating the Ballon d'Or. Well done, Alisson, Mane, Salah, and the award will go to Virgil. I hope so. I really think Van Dijk deserves it. Really do. Harry Williams said Adrian and Lonergan probably thought they'd never win anything after being released by the clubs. Good things come to those who wait. Exactly. Let's look at Andy Lonergan as an example. So Liverpool knew that Alisson was going to be late coming home because he was busy winning the fucking Copa America with Bobby Firmino in Brazil. So they knew with Queefing Kelleher having an injury as well, Simon Mignolet being a little bit later back as well because of his involvement in the Nations League, they knew that they had to get somebody in there to help, to provide training cover and stuff for the goalkeeper. So they brought in Andy Lonergan, and we were told that it was just for training purposes, there'd be no contract. But with the injury crisis that we've had and with Alisson pulling up, Andy Lonergan has been rewarded for obviously showing his true professionalism during that trip to America with the Reds, and it's great to see. And I'm honestly delighted for him and Adrian. What else we got? A lot of people saying, Boya, please beat Chelsea on Sunday. Please. Loads of people. Boya there, as you can see in the chat, LCFC. I have to say that slowly, Anthony, every time I say it, because still to this day, mate, you know what I want to say. I nearly say LFC Boya every fucking time, buddy. Leicester City FC Boya. Anthony there in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, as I say, top lad. Do subscribe to his channel if you like football content. Give him a click. Pop over, say hello. Anthony talks all things Leicester City. Vardy hat-trick, said Stephen Booker. How is Bernardo Silva not in the running? It is mad. He had a great season last year, mate. As I said, I'm willing to put my club bias aside and say, yeah, I was a little bit. If I'm a Manchester City fan, I can understand being irked as to why Bernardo Silva hasn't gotten into more teams of the season around Europe and stuff. He had a very good season for Manchester City. Lonergan played at Preston, said Karen. I actually, did he? I can't remember where he played. I've never followed Andy Lonergan's career until he came to Liverpool in the summer in that training camp. I knew his name, but never knew. Couldn't tell you one club he played for. Junkie Funky Smith said Jurgen, the only manager that would have run and joined the celebrations with the players in today's game. It was funny seeing him pelting down the pitch and jumping on Adrian. It was, and there's a lovely picture actually of Jurgen Klopp and his coaching staff all holding the Super Cup. And I have to admit, I call me a fucking psycho or call me a cynical fucker, but I looked at it and just thought, yeah, fuck you, Buvac. with due respect as well, but I did look at it and go, wonder if Buvac is looking at this, and then had a little sly glance over to Pep Linders. Couldn't help myself. I just couldn't. What else we got? Shaqiri should have played on the left, said Mike Daw. Yeah, look, in hindsight, mate, I probably agree with you. Or Divock. It wasn't the best performance we're going to see from sorry, distracted by comments. It wasn't the best performance we're going to see from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain this season, but I'm willing to give him a break because he's still working his way back. But the game did pass him by for long periods last night. It wasn't his greatest performance, but he'll get better. I find it very hard to be critical of somebody like him who's been out for so long, but you do have to be honest in your assessment of a performance. Craig, you called my Karen? Or me Karen? Did I? Mate, I say a lot of stupid shit. Sorry, Darren. Sometimes I don't know what's coming out of my mouth at any one moment, mate. Did I see the issue with Harvey Elliott mocking Harry Kane? Yes, I did. I did. I spoke about it on the stream, mate. And Harvey Elliott has been reminded of his behaviour by the club now that he is a Liverpool Football Club player. And I cannot, again, in good conscience, stand over anybody who mocks somebody's speech. But at the same time, not justifying what Harvey Elliott did in any way, shape or form. But some of the reaction from people on social media have been 10 times worse than what Harvey Elliott done. See, there you go, Darren. I can't speak, mate. What Harvey Elliott done. And nobody seems to see the fucking irony of that. Or the stupidity of these grown men and women mocking somebody for a man bun, a 16-year-old child, after saying, he slagged off Harry Kane and look at the state of him, blah, blah, blah. Nobody sees the irony in what they're doing there, or the hypocrisy of what they're doing. Bernadette Farrell said, Pep Linders is so positive and is so Klopp. They probably feed off each other. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. When I heard that, I was obviously sad that it didn't work out for him in Holland with his managerial job, but when I heard there was a chance of him coming back to Liverpool after Buvac had left, I remember how highly Jurgen Klopp spoke about him, and it just seemed a perfect reunion. So yeah, I'm delighted he's back at the club. Who would you recommend on Football Index that's cheap? I don't like to really recommend anybody, Craig, because it's real money and everybody should make their own decisions. What I will say is, you can look over the history of players. You can watch their trajectory, and you can see who. There's the top 200 players. Pay attention to that list. It's real money, so I'm very mindful that anything I say can have a real money effect on somebody. So I'll let you do your own research on it. I will talk about who I've invested in, and Connor will talk about who he's invested in. But for us to give you advice, mate, it's probably not fair because real money is involved. But my mate just continuously invested in Virgil van Dijk last season, all season. Van Dijk, and he's made some money on it. And he was a Celtic fan. He was one of my Celtic fan mates, I told you, who said to me ages ago that Van Dijk, Liverpool should have been looking at him when he was in Scotland, and kept going on about this guy, and me being so arrogant, I kept going, yeah, but it's Scotland. It's Scotland, mate. Then he went to Southampton, and then he was still saying it to me, and now he's at Liverpool, and I kills me to tell him he was right all along. Oxlade-Chamberlain needs to play with the under-23s to get game time. Cannot risk points in the league. We almost lost it last night. It's not fully his fault that we lost it though, Bowie, to be fair. I mean, I feel like you're putting that entire shitty performance, or well, periods of shitty performances on Oxlade-Chamberlain's shoulders. It wasn't just him. Gomez had a shocker. Henderson wasn't as good as he was against Norwich. There was defensive frailties. I mean, he wasn't great, but we can't put the entire performance down to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, mate. Pep Linders was at the club when Buvac was there. Well aware of that, mate, but then he left to go manage in Holland. Then that didn't work out for him. He lost that job, and then he came back. As I said, Klopp always spoke very highly about Pep Linders. So when it didn't work out for him in Holland, it was nice to see that opportunity was there for him to come back when Buvac left. Is there a top award for managers? Yes, there is. There's the manager. There's a few of them, actually. There's the UEFA one. I think there might be a sports writers one as well. But yeah, there definitely is. And it will be Klopp versus Pep versus Deschamps. Actually, we spoke about it a while back. Klopp was nominated. We went through it the other night. If I remember the list of managers roughly off the top of my head, I think the Algeria manager was in there. Pep was in there. Klopp was in there. Deschamps was in there. Portugal's manager was in there. Tete or Tiche or whatever way you pronounce the Brazilian's manager's name, he was in there. I can't quite remember who else was there. But yes, there are a few awards, mate. How do I think Salah will do this year? How do you think? How does everybody think Salah will do this year? I will answer the question, Tyler, but I also like to throw it back into the group, mate. I'm expecting him to bag 30 plus goals, and I'm not saying in the Premier League, across all competitions. I'm not somebody who really cares in individual accolades too much with regards to forwards and goal scoring in particular. I want 3 points and I want it to be about the team, and anything after that is a bonus. So I would sacrifice any one of our players winning an individual award for the club to pick up a trophy. So it's going to be close. Mane's going to have I feel Mane's just going to have a really good season this year as well. And when you've got two of them like that, going head to head, whilst working together, God knows, mate, there could be serious numbers done this season. It's going to be a really interesting race as well for the Golden Boot, because obviously you've got Sterling, who's after starting off flying, Harry Kane, Aguero, Salah, Mane, Aubameyang. It's going to be interesting. If they can all stay fit, I think they'll all put up some good numbers this season. Junkie Funky Smith said, been saying for months that Pep Lijnders will be our next manager. It is not out of the realms of possibility at all, mate. I don't think that is. But at the same time, can we in good conscience say that Gerrard hasn't got enough experience to manage Liverpool, and then say that Pep Lijnders could do the job? Are we saying that working with Klopp is enough to get somebody the job? I mean, working alongside him and getting to know him and seeing the squad day in, day out. I don't know. It's the honest answer to that. I love Pep Lijnders, but I think it will be a little bit disingenuous of us. I feel like I've been using the fucking word disingenuous a lot lately. Maybe I just learned it or something, I don't know. But to big up him and then belittle Steven Gerrard's possibility of managing Liverpool. But it's definitely interesting, and I definitely do rate Pep Lijnders. We lost the midfield battle, especially in the first half, so Cape Town Muslim. Campeones. I love it, mate. 4 times as well, for those that are wondering. Ourselves and Real Madrid tied, both of us 4 Super Cup wins each. Liverpool now the most successful club in English football history. I love saying that. Back on top. 1 clear Manchester United. Sancho for Salah. Come on, that's ridiculous. So Jack's page on Sancho, actually. I do have a little bit on Jadon Sancho. Where are we? Borussia Dortmund have confirmed that they turned down an approach from what they described as one of Europe's super clubs for Jadon Sancho earlier in the year. If I remember correct, I think they said the approach was around March time, but again, that's not really important here. They said that they made it clear that the 19-year-old absolutely was not for sale at any price this season, but they do admit that they might reassess the situation next summer. What do you think, ladies and gents? A possible hashtag Sancho 2020? Possible? I know we were on the old hashtag Mbappe 2020. This all links in as well to that potential massive new kit deal. Nike seem to be the clear favourites from everything that I'm reading, but I've no factual information to base any of this on. But if you're going off the figures that have been thrown around, then somewhere between 73 and 100 million a season for a potential 10 seasons for a deal with Nike, a kit deal, is the numbers that I've been seeing. Now, myself, I don't think any club should sign a 10-year kit manufacturer deal. I think we don't know what the market will be in 5 years. So to sign a deal now for 100 million a year, let's just say it's 100 million a year because it's a nice round number, for 10 years, in 6 years' time, in 5 years' time, that could look like peanuts. So I'm always a little bit concerned about that. But whatever this deal will be, the next deal, and it's looking more and more likely to be Nike as the days go by and the things that we're all reading, that would give us a big commercial partner and would carry some weight when it comes to perhaps trying to attract these players, as well as the club being fucking champions of Europe as well. I think Klopp's eventual successor has not made his name yet, said Stephen Booker. Cape Town Muslim said, thoughts on Man United again, thinking they're back challenging after one game. I mean, look, from their point of view, they won 4-0, they're going to be happy. They will improve this season, but I don't think they'll be there or thereabouts challenging anywhere near the top. I mean, maybe 4th. Good luck with the rest of the season from a Chelsea fan, said Adam Wise. Thank you, Adam. Very kind of you, mate. Really, really big of you to come in and say that, buddy. And right back to you. I'm going to watch Chelsea with interest this season because I look at some of the younger players going through there, and Mason Mount in particular, he looks like a baller, mate. He does. And it'll be interesting to see what Lampard does there and the style of football that he gets them playing. They're an unknown for me this season. It's still them and United are the two great unknowns for me in the Premier League this season. And I'm going to watch both of them with interest. But again, Adam, thank you, mate. New Balance or Adidas for me, said Claire. Claire, you know what ship I'm on here, buddy. I'm fully on the Adidas ship when it comes to Liverpool and kits. but it's looking more and more like Nike. But as the days go on, Papandu said, Craig, the kit deal is mega money, isn't it? The current one with New Balance is 29 million per year, which, let's not forget, is a good deal at the time and what we signed. And was infinitely more than we were getting, and more than a lot of other clubs were getting. But the market moves quickly, mate, as you've said, and this is our last year under contract with New Balance, so we'll wait and see what happens. I'm sure the club will announce whatever manufacturer we'll be going with in due course, but I don't know, I just don't like the idea of Nike and Liverpool. It's a personal thing. It just doesn't work for me, but I want what's best for the club, and whatever's best for the club is best for all of us, I suppose. Press said Adidas make rubbish kits. I would disagree, but I can get where you're coming from. But I think a lot of the kit manufacturers are lazy these days. I think there's a lot of reproduced kits with just a change of colour or a little tweak here or there. And New Balance, I think, have at least put in effort to try and make our kits different and nice and special. And I've enjoyed New Balance. As a kit manufacturer, I have to say, I've enjoyed the extra little things. I mean, people might see them as ways to try and bleed money out of fans, but I've enjoyed having the option of buying trainers that go with the kit. For instance, like last year I bought the purple away shirt, and I bought the white runners with the purple and orange on it to match, because I thought they were smart. So I enjoyed little bits and pieces like that. What I don't enjoy, and something that I really fucking despise, and this isn't a New Balance thing, this is a football wide thing, I don't like this whole fan shirt and then whatever the posh name for the players version of the shirt is, fucking elite shirt or whatever they call it, that's basically another 50 or 60% on top of the cost of the price of the fan version of the shirt. I don't like that one bit. That pisses me off. Don't like Nike and Puma, said Paul Turner. Don't like Puma, mate, myself. Not a fan one bit. I think New Balance have done an excellent job in styling the kit. It's been very saleable, said Bernadette Farrell. Claire Dean said 300 of you fuckers didn't hit the like button, which is our way of doing it, Claire, isn't it really, mate? So well in. Look, if you are enjoying the stream, ladies and gents, about 25 minutes to go. Do hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, do subscribe to the channel. I want to congratulate you all, by the way, and here's why I'm going to congratulate you wonderful people. Last night, our stream, for only the second time in its history, I can't believe I'm saying this, so many records to talk about. Last night we got 100,000 views of the game, of the watch along. I say the game like we showed the game. We didn't. Of the watch along. So 100,000 people or 100,000 views of our watch along last night. 100,000. Do you have any idea how fucking frightening that is for me sitting here, and how humbling it is, and how much I'm happy for you guys? Because the people that come in stay because of the chat, they stay because of the input, they stay because of the vibe. Obviously I like to think they like what I do as well, but it's a group effort, as I've always said. 100,000 views. Not only that, the records kept coming. Now that isn't the record, it's our second biggest. For the Barcelona game, I think we got 170,000. We got over 1,000 thumbs up, which is brilliant. I think it's only the second time we've done that. We got a record for subscribers in a day. I think we got 652 subscribers yesterday in one day, which beat our record by like 100. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why, but our little channel here is on the up, and as I always do, I want to give credit right back to you guys, because without your love, your sharing, your kind words, your support, you've been fucking awesome as well. We wouldn't be jack shit. And thank you, forever thank you, and we hope to continuously have your support as well, and we love your feedback, we love your thoughts. Anfield Agenda is Anfield Agenda because of the 21,114 people that hit that subscribe button and come in and contribute to what makes us unique, I hope, and different. So I love you guys. Thank you. From myself, from Connor, from Cash, Dave, Brian. I know I'm forgetting people here already. Chris, Kev, everybody. And anybody else who I've forgotten, I apologise. But yes, thank you. Every single one of you. If I can say it in my way, you motherfuckers are awesome. What else we got? That's great to hear. Thank you very much. 100,000, that's like the new camp watching. I know it's scary when you think of those type of numbers, but I never do. I only ever think of me, that camera and what I can see on the screen with the comments. After that, I try not to let myself think about it, because I would probably shit myself. Javino said, 100,000 views, you deserve it. We, mate, always we. Everything here is a group effort. Who do you think will win La Liga this year? Yeah, I was actually reading an article earlier on Barca, Real Madrid, and the business that they've done this year. Barca. I've got to say Barca. I fucking despise Real Madrid, mate, so I've got to say Barca. But Atleti have done some good business, so it'll be intriguing to see how they get on. For everyone that's saying kind stuff as well, love straight back to every one of you. Thank you. Happily Egg said, it's easy and fun being here. I tell you what, mate, it's an absolute joy for me as well. Thanks for all the effort you put in during the transfer window. We appreciate it, even though there was no signings. I'm not going to lie, Joe. It was difficult, mate, trying to sit down with Connor and come up with topics to talk about, or ways to try and spin positivity, when at times I was a little bit frustrated as well. Going into the window, backup, full back, and an attacker. Loads of us. How many times did we hear that them two positions discussed? But yeah, it was tough at times. But we're back at the football now, and this is what it's about. This is why the channel's here. It exists to watch the games. It exists to talk about the Reds, and it's easier to talk about stuff when there's games to talk about. Umbro 1975 to 1985 said Dean Dixon. Yep. And Liverpool were the first club to have a sponsor on a shirt as well, if I'm not mistaken, Dean. And you remember the Umbo Kids, mate, you might remember this as well. I think Liverpool, when they had a deal with Hitachi, was that the first ever sponsorship deal on a kit? Am I right in that one, ladies and gents? I'm sure I read that somewhere. Your reaction when Divock scored in the Champions League semi-final was the best. It's going to grow and grow. Thank you, mate. People said to me last night that my reaction after the final penalty was saved, and people were like, it was really good. Hand on heart, and I said this to my wife earlier on, I can't remember a damn thing. Not one word. I'm sure I'm sure I said something like, fuck you, UEFA, you cheating fuck. Something along those lines. After that, I'm always so scared I'm going to say something like will land me in a whole heap of trouble and I can't take back, because, as you know, I'm a really emotional person when I watch football. And I'm so sure this channel's going to be shut down one day because I just unload some fucking verbal diarrhea at some point when we win or lose. Well done to everyone associated. All of us, buddy. All of us together. I got so tired of the Delit saga, said Cape Town Muslim. That and Coutinho, mate. Coutinho, I was up and down. I was will it, won't it, maybe, no. I hate him, I like him, I don't mind him, I could forgive him, he's a prick. I went every which way on Coutinho. It's it was a weirdo window, wasn't it? But you know what? Looking at it now, looking back in hindsight, and looking at the business done by other clubs, I'm not overly concerned. Like, United did some alright business, but still didn't do enough, and I don't think they'll close the gap enough. Spurs, Ndombele, Sessegnon. Did they sign somebody else? Am I forgetting? Decent business, very good squad. City, yeah, they signed Rodri, but they have lost through injury for quite a while. Sané, and could perhaps have lost him to Bayern Munich. Brought in Angelino as well at left back. Is he a left back? I can't even remember. I think he's a left back. They brought him in. So yeah, not overly concerned by their business either. Yeah, so I did look at our opposition for the top 4, the top 6 and go, fuck, they've gone streets ahead of us. And that was, I suppose, the only real saving grace I looked at in this window. For me to look back at it and go, okay, I could kind of understand the gamble, the roll of the dice by Klopp, and I do still believe there's something up his sleeve for next summer. I think this club is working on something big for next summer, whether it's Mbappe, whether it's Sancho, whether it's somebody else. I think there's a reason we're doing what we're doing. Dean Dixon said Pepe, Fekir, Werner, Firpo, Delit, all signed by the ITKs. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to talk about Arsenal there, didn't I? You've rightly said they signed Pepe. They signed that centre back who they sent back on loan. They signed Kieran Tierney. They signed Danny Ceballos on loan from Real Madrid for the season. So yeah, Arsenal did some decent business as well, and credit to them. But again, I don't think enough to really challenge at the top. it's going to be some fight for that 4th Champions League place, isn't it, this year? And that's without maybe looking at a surprise from Wolves or Leicester. Everton, not the worst business as well. I can't give them any credit, but they were alright, to be fair, the business that they did. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Hakim was a decent piece of business to bring in, to be fair. God, I hate giving the bitters any credit. What else we got? Does anybody understand why footballers nowadays want to join the big two in Spain the way the fans treat them? I hope, mate. I mean, it's a fair point that you made, and I hope people look at it at times and go, yeah, look, 2 great clubs full of history, but at the same time, Hazard was signing there, his dream move, and they're shouting, we want Mbappe. Coutinho goes there, and they're fucking booing him throughout the season. It is... Yeah, it has to be a warning, surely. You can go there and you can increase your profile and you can do really well, but you can also not get anywhere near the love and support that you'll get from a lot of clubs in the Premier League. Obviously, I will put Liverpool right at the top of that list, but there are some very good fan bases in the Premier League. Arsenal might be the hidden team that'll just sneak into the top 4 out of nowhere, so Jamie Todd. I wouldn't rule it out. I absolutely wouldn't rule it out, mate. Unai Emery is a good manager. And they will score goals this season with that front 3 as well. It's just going to be a matter of defensively, can they shore things up a little bit. Craig Adams said, Kai Havertz is up 13p now. Get on him. Well, there you go. For Football Index fans, Kai Havertz up 13p according to Craig Adams. Thank you, mate. I'm definitely going to have a look at him. And again, if you are signing up, use the code AA, and there is a link below that will directly attribute your sign up to Anfield Agenda as well. And full disclosure, as we've always said, we will make money from this partnership if people sign up. We're not hiding that one bit, but it is also part of the reason why we'll be able to keep all our content free all the time going forward. I've always tried to be fully transparent with everything we've done on the channel. So anyone that does sign up to Football Index using the code below and the link below and that does deposit, we will make financial gain from that. I'm not going to hide away from that, ladies and gents. What have we got? If it's the Super Cup's a major trophy, we've won 46 major trophies. We had this little conversation at the start. It's so difficult to know, mate, Ethan, which one. Because, I mean, the club's roll of honour says 46 trophies right now, as you've rightly said. But 43 is the number that's doing the rounds and the number that likes a Carrot is mentioning. And a couple of the newspapers that I've read, or at least online sites that I've read, have mentioned 43 to 42. Whatever the adding up process is, as long as it puts us one ahead of United, I'm fucking tickety-boo, mate. That's being right there in the most successful club in English history. Is that'll do me. If it's 46 or 43, that's for other people to argue about. But the Reds being back up on top is beautiful, and that's what's most important. And like you, Ethan, mate, I was confused last night. I was looking at both sets of numbers. Seeing the club's honour board clearly states 46. Then you see the people in the media and the other stuff in Carrot and stuff saying 43 to 42. Either way, as long as we're ahead. Hey Craig, what did I miss? Said Max. We spoke about the racism aimed towards Tammy Abraham, mate, and how that's not acceptable in football, and how Twitter are sitting down with Kick It Out and trying to work out a way of, whilst you won't eradicate this issue, highlighting it, removing people from social media, and working together to help maybe raise awareness as well about situations. We talked about the fact that the Reds are back on their perch as the most successful club in English football. Virgil van Dijk has been nominated in the final 3 for the UEFA Player of the Year award. He'll be up against Messi and Ronaldo for that prize, and the award ceremony will take place in Monaco on August the 29th. Spoke about Degsy Lovren, and the Football Insider claimed that Lovren may well remain at Liverpool this season because they believe Roma only want to sign the defender on a loan with an option to buy deal, where Liverpool have no interest in a loan. They will only deal in a long-term permanent sale if that's the case. If not, then he'll stay. We spoke about Daniel Sturridge as well, and he's looking likely to sign for Trabzonspor in Turkey. And then we went on to talk about why on earth Simon Jordan went on such a rant against Daniel Sturridge. Dortmund and Sancho, they said they received an offer from a super club, or what they called a super club, earlier on in the year, which they turned down, and they said that they told the club in no uncertain terms Jadon Sancho is not for sale this season, but they did not rule out the possibility of reevaluating that at the end of the season. I think that's about it. Oh no, there's one more thing actually that I haven't mentioned yet in my notes. Norwich have confirmed that the striker that ran onto the pitch during Friday night's game at Anfield has been banned for life from Carrow Road. They went on to say that the individual concerned did not hold an away membership and did not purchase a ticket via the club official channel. So, well done to Norwich on that one. No time for these idiots running onto the pitch like that. I mean, we can all say fair enough it was a streaker, but it's a streaker this time. We have no idea what it might be or what the person may be carrying next time. And the safety of the players and the officials are paramount. What do I think about the McGregor incident? Funnily enough, Stephen, something we also touched on earlier on, mate. Whilst none of us have the full information about what's gone on, going off the video alone, it's despicable, Stephen, mate. I mean, it looks like he punched a man who said something to him, but didn't in any way physically approach McGregor in an intimidating manner. So it looks like he sucker punched an old man, or an older man, shall we say, which isn't fucking great at all, and it's something isn't sitting right at the minute with Conor McGregor. And I don't know Conor McGregor, and I'm very I have to try and resist going over the top because I have no idea what exactly happened there, what exactly was said. But there's been a few incidents, and I'm a McGregor fan. I've said this before. When it comes to getting into the octagon, highlighting our country, doing great things for Ireland, putting us on the map with regards to MMA and stuff, himself and John Kavanagh, great stuff. I mean, nothing but love. But you cannot defend incidents like that. It is. If one of my mates did that in a pub, I'd pull him up on it. I'd be fucking shocked, and I'd probably end our friendship. I mean, I wouldn't want to associate myself with somebody that was doing something like that. That's my opinion on it. It wasn't like the man got up into his face, and you can say I was defending myself. I mean, anybody can feel intimidated and throw a punch, but that isn't what happened, or at least didn't look like what happened. The man was still sitting down. It looked like, if you were to have a guess at it, an argument over whiskey. Over McGregor perhaps being told that his whiskey isn't great, or that the gentleman prefers Jameson or another whiskey, and McGregor didn't take it well. But that's just my guessing and trying to read the situation. Do you think we should have kept Wilson for squad depth? No. I think it's important that we see how Harry Wilson gets on in the Premier League if we are to make a call on the lad's future, and I'd rather we did that after giving him a loan than just selling him and then realising, shit, this kid's a superstar. So I think the loan was a good move. I think he'll get game time at Bournemouth, and we'll get to see him tested at the top level in the Premier League, and that will give us a clearer picture. Rowan Kent is an interesting one. I read something, let me just pull this up actually on my phone. I sent Connor a message the other day. I don't know if I still have it on my phone, but if I don't, I'll go back into my WhatsApp messages. Yeah, I do still have it. So I read this yesterday. I was on one of the I can't remember what site it was, but it was one of the ones that just give you the rundown of the newspaper headlines for the next day. And this one came from the Daily Record, which I believe is Scottish, and said, Rangers target Rowan Kent has gone to war with Liverpool, using the Bible to blast them about being left in the wilderness. I have to say that's one of the stranger newspaper headlines I'd seen attributed to Liverpool. It was weird. It was a strange one. And another one, I have another strange headline for you as well that I pulled up from that. So we know what happened with Mesut Ozil, and that he tried to be carjacked, and Kolasinac was there with him, and Kolasinac jumped out like an absolute fucking warrior, and helped run the guys off. And I think he even took a belt of I don't know if it was a piece of metal or a knife or whatever it was, but he took a belt or something. Well, the Mirror have an article or a headline that said Mesut Ozil's home is being watched by a 24-hour dog patrol amid fears for his safety as he remains caught up in a gang war. I'm probably maybe living in blissful ignorance there, but fuck me, that's a scary thought. So we went from one extreme with the Rowan Kent story just being downright odd or unusual to Mesut Ozil perhaps being caught up in a gang war. It's scary stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Conor McGregor hasn't been the same since his trip to Liverpool, said Kieran Aaron. It was just a fight in an old Irish bar. It wasn't a fight though, that's the thing. It wasn't. It wasn't two lads up in each other's face. Your man was still sitting in a chair, and McGregor hit him, I think it was a left, to the head. It seems strange. Adrian Durham thinks Henderson's a better captain than Gerrard. What are my thoughts? They're both European Cup winning captains. Are we talking captains or players? Do you know what I mean? We're comparing people from different genres, not different generations as such, but different moments in time. I look at both of them and I see two European Cup winning captains that will go down in Liverpool history, and I love them both for it. As a player, Gerrard, of course, was streets ahead of Jordan Henderson. Steven Gerrard was one of the 2 or 3 greatest players to ever put on a Liverpool shirt. But Jordan Henderson has won the European Cup, as has Steven Gerrard. Jordan Henderson has won the Super Cup. And they will go down in history and folklore as 2 Liverpool legends. I don't want to compare them and say who's better as captain, because they both do their job in different ways. But I love them both. And I'm delighted that they both managed to lift that beautiful big-eared bastard above their head. And I love Hendo's, I think it was Joel Ravinovitz. Maybe it was Joel Ravinovitz. I think it was him. Said that maybe Hendo needs to almost trademark that trophy lifting celebration, because it's pretty damn good. And it's very Jordan Henderson, and I love it. McGregor's a clown, said Shay Trainer. He's certainly acting up a little bit, mate. Yeah, it's weird what the stuff that's gone on with McGregor. Somebody pointed out in the stream earlier on, I didn't get a chance to read the comment out. Maybe it's you need to look at who's surrounding him and what type of friends or entourage he has around him. And look, I don't know Conor McGregor, so I can't speak to that sense. If you measure the captaincy on dedication, which you should, they're both equal, said Happily Eggs. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand as well this constant need to compare players of different eras or in different positions or different clubs and say who's better. Just enjoy them. Just enjoy Hendo while he's here. Look back at Gerrard's career fondly and enjoy the moments that he gave Liverpool and the trophies that he lifted as captain. I'd rather look at it that way than try and pit people head to head. But again, I'm an old fogey, so maybe it's a young person's game. Thank you, Curtis. What have we got? Both excellent captains. Player-wise, Gerrard was amazing. Look at his goals. Look, head-to-head from a playing perspective, Henderson isn't at the level of Steven Gerrard. He isn't. But they're both great captains. We need to get you on LFC TV. Can you imagine, mate? I'd be on there 5 seconds and I'd be just saying, do not curse, 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 do not curse. What do you think, Craig? He's a cunt. Oh, I've ruined it. I'll never get on LFC TV, mate. It's I'm not very TV friendly for certain stuff like that. For me, it would have to be something like a late night football talk show or something. I mean, yeah, I'm not very TV or radio friendly because I can never promise that I won't swear. I have a rule that I use, and for those of you that don't want to hear this particular word, cover your ears. But I have a rule, and my friends know this, my wife knows this. It's called the cunt rule. I hesitate to do any show where I can't say that word, because I can't in good conscience go on and know that I won't say that word. So kind of that's a little rule that I try to use to measure whether I can do something or not, because I swear like a drunken sailor and stuff slips out of my mouth all the time. And I would hate to ruin somebody else's show because I couldn't hold back language, which is why I like the freedom we have on here. Lovely touch by Hendo with the kid in the wheelchair letting him kiss the cup. It was, and it's the measure of the man. And every single player from both sides gave that young man a handshake and brought a beautiful smile to a young kid's face. And look, seeing a young kid smiling, that's a win for me in any book. Yeah, that's a win for me. You didn't curse on 888. Oh yes, I did. You just didn't see the unedited version, Liz. I absolutely cursed on 888, but thankfully the good folks that were editing those videos were quite kind to me and managed to pull out enough stuff. The stuff you've seen on anything like that that's edited down, there was a lot more. I mean, that was hours of filming there for small segments, so I have to say I did curse, Liz. Definitely past the watershed then, Craig, said Curtis Salt. Now it sounds, yeah. That's why I love YouTube. I can make my own mistakes, say stupid shit, and just point at myself and blame me. I don't need to worry about anything else. I don't need to worry about ruining somebody else's hard work or somebody else's show. I can do what I want. That's not right, but I can be my stupid ass self on here. Don't knock yourself, bro. I think you're great and you're right. Love the show. Thank you, buddy. I'm me. This is me. This is the Craig that goes around the home. This is the Craig that sings stupid songs when he's making the dinner in the kitchen. Says things that if I said outside, people would look at me like I've got 3 heads. I am a strange person, but I don't see that as a bad thing all the time. I think it'd be good. My husband hates when I say cunt. He sounds terrible coming from a woman. I told him, don't be like a dick. That's it. Like, I mean, I know what a miracle is, and my experience over there, when people have heard me say the word, if I'm talking with my wife, and I'm not calling her that, by the way, but if I'm using the word, I do notice people stare a lot more. In Ireland, I think a lot more people maybe are a little bit desensitized to that word, because we can use the word as a compliment. But yeah, as different parts of the world, different people have different tolerances for different words and different phrases, and look, that's okay. One to stop swearing. What's this? Jamie Todd said, 1 to stop Craig swearing. Every swear word equals a dislike if you swear. Mate, I don't give a shit if we've got 10,000 dislikes. Doesn't bother me one bit. I just want people to be here enjoying the streams with us. If people come in and it isn't their thing, I get it. I know I'm Marmite. I know people will look at this stream and go, he's a fucking idiot. I get that. I'd probably look at me and go, I'm an idiot as well. But thankfully, there's enough people that seem to come in and enjoy what we do, and that's great. I love it. And I'm very grateful. And I'll always feel like I'm blagging it on here. Even the bio on Twitter says we've been blagging it for, 18 months or whatever. Blagging it since day one, and we'll continue blagging it as long as we can. Right, people just won't leave Gerrard alone, said Dean Dixon. He was our top 5 ever players. As a captain, had the team on his shoulders for 10 plus years. Hendo's had some fantastic players around him. Yes, absolutely. But so did Steven Gerrard, mate. I mean, you're kind of making that sound like Gerrard was surrounded by shit. Gerrard played with Suarez, Torres, Mascherano, Alonso, Carragher, Agger, Sissoko. Who else am I forgetting here? Fowler, Owen, Paddy Berger. I mean, Steven Gerrard was Steve Finnan, Pepe Reina, John Barnes. He was hardly surrounded by shite his entire career, to be fair. You forgot to read the end part of the comment, did I? Sorry, mate. Let me go back and find it. Without swearing, we hit the like button. Sorry. You're right. I did forget, mate. My bad. Thank you, Jamie. Ladies and gents, look. Hippie as well. Yeah, many, many more. Well, I'm not somebody that really rated John Arne Riise that highly, Graham, if I'm being honest. I wasn't a Riise fan that much. He frustrated me at times. Yeah, look, Kaut, Maxi as well, and yeah, he's been surrounded by good players. I was with you all the way up to Sissoko, said Stephen Booker. I don't know, I have a soft spot for Momo Sissoko. He's a bit rash in the tackle, but I don't know, I always liked Momo. I always liked him at the club. Morientes is an interesting one, Danny, isn't it? Because I was so excited when we brought in Morientes, and we didn't quite see the best of him, but yeah, well, I was really excited when we signed him. I didn't miss Alonso, mate. I definitely said Alonso. 100% said Xabi Alonso. I made sure when I was listing the players in my head that he was there to say. Morientes was thrash. That's very fucking harsh, mate. He mightn't have been great at Liverpool, but he had a stellar career, scoring wonderful goals for Real Madrid, Monaco. Scored a few for Liverpool. I don't really remember who else he played for, to be fair, because it was mainly Real Madrid. But Morientes was a great player. Yossi Benayoun is another good one, Aiden, yes. Shame he missed out playing with Ragnar Klavan. I mean that will be something he'll look back in his career, Danny, and go, Raggy, if only. He might get to play in a Legends game with him at some point, though, so there you go. Jimmy Traore. Oh, still, I can just still think of Jimmy Traore. Oh, Traore, Champions League winning player. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call that a night if that's okay. I won't be here tomorrow. As I said, I'm going to take tomorrow off, so we will be back on Saturday for the Southampton game. Watch along will be starting at 2:30 p.m. and we'll be going straight through, and we'll have a post-match show as well. We're going to probably be having a couple of callers for the call in on that one, so you know how to get in contact with us. AnfieldAgenda@outlook.com, at Anfield Agenda on Twitter, same on Instagram. We'll need a couple of callers, so if you're up for it, hit us up and we'll try and sort something out. Again, if you're interested in signing up to Football Index, you can see a sign up link in the description below, and also use the code AA when you sign up. Look, thank you guys so much for everything. This past week has been amazing. To pass 20k, to get 100,000 viewers of the game last night, to hit over 650 subscriptions in one day. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm eternally grateful for it. I love each and every one of you. Take care of your families, ladies and gents. Tell your loved ones that you love them. And as always, up the motherfucking 6-time European Cup winning, 4-time Super Cup winning, most trophies in England winning motherfucking Reds.